Anybody have an appendix explode? I should rephrase that. Anybody really unlucky? The universe can be a real dick sometimes. And one day, a couple years ago, it reminded me what being unlucky was all about. So during my third year at university, I awoke on the first day of finals week for winter trimester. I awoke because of this constant dull pain violently squeezing my right side. All I thought was, must be stress. So I handled it in the same way I handle all my emotional pain. I ignored it. A week goes by, and other than final exams, I was also participating in my first ever sponsored stand-up competition, which meant there was some cash money in it for me if I won. I made it to the final round, which would take place on the last day of finals week. On that last day, I had a dermatologist appointment at the hospital, because back then I was blessed with horrible back knee. At the dermatologist, he asked me if I had any adverse effects to the new ointment I was taking. So I told him, well, I know this isn't related to the medication, but for the past week I've had this weird pain in my back and it hurts to breathe. And he just stared at me. It hurts to breathe. You need to get an x-ray. Ha! An x-ray? No, that's way too expensive, I said, like a true American. No, not breathing is serious. You need to get an x-ray. I'm calling the x-ray technician. So he sent me downstairs to the room where they do the x-rays, and the x-ray technician was this bubbly, energetic woman who had the demeanor of a Disney mom on her third glass of wine. As I entered the room, the lady just shrieked, "Yay, it's x-ray time!" as she placed me in front of a giant machine. She made me put on this thick bib that had little cartoon puppies all over it, and she told me, "Take a deep breath, and when I say happy birthday, pretend to blow out all your candles." Okay. So I blew out all the imaginary candles on my imaginary cake as the x-ray made all kinds of Atari noises. Miss Bubbles then skipped into the back room to get the x-ray. And from where I sat in the room waiting, I could see through this random window that really did not need to be there. It lets me look directly into the room where Miss Bubbles is putting up my x-ray up on that, that light board thing, like in the intro to Scrubs. And you want to know the scariest thing you can see as a patient? It's when a doctor looks at your x-ray, makes this face, leaves, and brings a second doctor to look at it. And I had to watch it all because some architect really had a kink for randomly placed windows. After what felt like an hour of debate, Miss Bubbles takes a deep breath, puts on a fake smile, and comes back into the room saying, "No worries, we're going to take a real good look at your results. We'll call your doctor." She sends me up to my dermatologist and he gets a call. Uh-huh. Oh, really? Well, that's not good. Dude, I'm right here. He hangs up, grabs a pen, and rips off a portion of that one-ply toilet paper material you sit on the doctor's chair. He turns to me and says, "So one of your lungs looks like this," and he draws an oval. "And the other lung looks like this." That's bad, right? You have something called a spontaneous pneumothorax. We call it spontaneous because we don't know how it happens. What? It seems a hole just in your right lung, and air is leaking out and filling your chest cavity. This is causing your lung to push against your heart, and if this keeps happening, it could trigger a heart attack and you could die. Great. So apparently my lung decided that
suicide is badass
and just hit the self-destruct button. He tells me he's going to set up an emergency surgery that theoretically should be quick and easy, like I'll be in and out by evening. But the only hospital able to do it is across town. So I'm being serious here. He called me a cab. A fucking taxi was going to take me to a hospital for emergency surgery. So I find myself standing outside the first hospital until a taxi comes and picks me up. And the taxi driver gave me a look when I asked him to take me to the other hospital. We were silently riding along, and he turns to me. "So, something wrong?" My lung? Hate when that happens. Yeah. Me too. Once I got to the hospital, my dermatologist conveniently did not inform me that I had to pay for the taxi. Then I nervously shuffled into the emergency clinic and told the lady at the front desk, I'm the guy who has the broken lung. She gets up and leads me through the emergency clinic into a small, curtained-off mini hospital room. She gives me a gown and tells me to strip and leaves. I sit on the bed and the doctor doing the procedure comes in. He looks at the chart, looks at me, and says, a spontaneous pneumothorax. Haven't done one of those in a while. And then leaves. Excuse me? Now, I didn't go to medical school, but I'm pretty sure that's something they teach you not to say in like Doctor 101, right next to oops and yes, we'll help you even if you don't have insurance. Why would he say that and just leave? What, is he going to the back room to Google it? Then a nurse comes in and says that I have someone here to see me. Oh, thank God. One of my caring friends must have heard something was wrong and have come in on their white horse to rescue me. Nope, it was taxi guy. He said he wrote my debit card wrong on the receipt and the payment didn't go through. So with my ass hanging out of my hospital gown, I have to rewrite my number on his receipt. I give him the receipt and he takes a long look around the hospital room and just says, I wish you luck. Luck? Luck is the last thing I want to rely on in a hospital. I lie down back on my hospital bed and a nurse comes in with an IV drip. He tells me it'll make me feel numb for the procedure and proceeds to stick in the needle. Ow! Fuck! Oh, sorry. I missed. Oh God. Okay, maybe I'm gonna need a little bit of luck. Taxi guy, where'd you go? Once he got the IV in, the doctor walks in, along with an entire group of interns. They all had clipboards and pens like they were gonna watch me like I'm some kind of experiment. Now, we don't normally see a spontaneous pneumothorax, so they'll be watching me perform the procedure. Do I get a say in this? Is what I should have said. But my one-track mind just asked, hey doc, I have a stand-up competition tonight. I'll still be able to perform, right? And he just looks at me and says, sure, kid. I'm going to start the procedure. By now, the drugs should have kicked in. What? Doctor, there has to be some kind of mistake. I don't feel any. The doctor begins cutting into my right side, and mind you, I'm fully awake for the surgery, but feeling like I decided that now was the perfect time to practice my upcoming stand-up routine for the interns. I'm lying in the hospital bed, doctor cutting into my ribcage, and I'm all, what's the deal with airline food? And I distinctly remember these interns laughing, and I don't remember if it's at my jokes or at me. The doctor finishes the procedure by sticking this small tube into my side. It just dangled out of me like one of those sucker fish you see hanging off of sharks. Apparently it was designed to slowly let air leak out of my chest cavity until my lung reinflates like a balloon. The interns and the doctor left, and the nurse comes back in to take my IV drip out. He tells me I should be able to leave once the drugs wear off, and I'm all, sweet, I can make the competition. And then another thought hit me. Oh, shit, I forgot to tell my parents. So my high as a kite brain decided that the best way to tell them is to have the nurse take a picture of me doing my best impression of the Fonz and sending it to them with no context. Like my mom's relaxing, reading a book, and she gets a picture of me in a hospital bed, smeared in blood, going, hey! Safe to say, my parents weren't happy. However, that was not gonna stop me. I had a competition to win. Fame to be had. I then called my friend, who also made it to the final round of the competition, to tell him to come pick me up. They wheelchaired me out of the hospital, and my friend and I sped to the bar where the competition was taking place. By the time we got there, the drugs wore off, and my brain woke up. It told me, hey Tanner. Oh yeah, brain, what's up? There's a tube sticking out of us? Oh, yeah, a funny story.
Warning, pain.
So my body completely shut down. I could barely move and can only speak in a whisper. The raspy, I'm about to die kind of whisper, not the sexy kind. So there was no way that I could actually perform on stage. I told the dudes in charge of the competition the gist of the story and showed them the tube dangling out of my ribcage. They thought it was wild. And when the competition was over, they called me out to give me half of the first place prize just for showing up. The actual winner got the cash prize, but they gave me the other half, a pair of large wooden Budweiser cornholes. Yeah, cornholes. Yeah, I don't know. I still got them. Here they are. Well, after a week of laying on the couch in extreme pain, I go in for a follow-up x-ray to see the progress this tube is making. Turns out it wasn't helping at all. So they immediately hospitalized me with nothing but the clothes on my back. All I can hope is that I get out in time to see my family for Christmas. So they attached an even larger tube into my body, which was connected to this weird blood vacuum machine, which was then connected to the wall. I was now chained to my hospital room with nothing to do. So I decided to watch every episode of House MD on my phone. In hindsight, not the best thing to watch in a hospital. I learned of so many crazy ways that I could mysteriously die. So Tanner, I got your test results. Oh God, it's lupus, isn't it?
You stash your drugs in a lupus textbook. It's never lupus.
2 weeks and 177 episodes of House later, the big tube wasn't making the progress it should have, and my lung still looked like a raisin. So they had to reposition it by cutting a new hole in my side. Rinse and repeat this process every few days until my right side had more holes than the Game of Thrones finale.
And who has a better story than Bran the Broken?
Christmas was fast approaching, and it was becoming more and more unclear whether or not I'd be able to see my family. Oh! Santa, what did you bring me for Christmas? Santa? Yep, I had to have invasive surgery. The only available time, Christmas morning. Santa, when I said I wanted operation for Christmas, this isn't what I meant. The surgery required putting me under, digging into my chest, and cutting the broken part of my lung off and stapling the hole shut. I now forever have 2 staples in my right lung. Sometimes they set off those detectors at the supermarket. Or airport security. I don't remember much from that day, except when the surgery was over, I was still... But I remember being around a bunch of female nurses who were cleaning the blood off of me, and one of the nurses pulled out my catheter. And in my drugged up state, I'm like, whoa, at least buy me dinner first. This is why I don't do drugs. I spent the last few days of winter vacation recovering from surgery and sucking down that sweet, sweet morphine. Oh, how I miss you, morphine mommy. That line staying in the video. Oh, God, yeah. On the last day of Christmas vacation, I was finally able to leave the hospital. They gave me a bunch of Oxycontin pills to ease the pain, and for the next 2 weeks of my classes, I was woke. I've never done so well in school ever before. I was at full attention during class. I aced every exam, and studying was super easy and efficient. Whew. Damn, I kind of see why people get so hooked on these things. So how did all this lung shenanigans happen? The doctors could only theorize that my lung could not keep up with my growth spurt, stretch itself too thin, and just crapped out one day. I theorize it's on account of my bad luck. Getting to know me, you'll soon find out I am probably one of the unluckiest people on the planet. Life really is unpredictable, and sometimes shit happens because the universe gives you a bad roll of the dice. So to all those brave enough to exist in this wacky universe, I repeat the words a wise man once said, I wish you luck. Moral of the story, House MD, pretty good show. And if anybody wants to play with my cornholes, just shoot me a message. Wait, that didn't come out right. And my brain does this Terminator scan of the room, highlighting all the cute girls with empty seats next to them. Hey, do you want to come see my dorm? And as I stared into her beautiful blue eyes, I open my mouth and say,